Hello, my name's Deanna and this is Sarah. Hello. And we are going to walk you through the application process of becoming a surrogate at WFI. First, you're going to go to our site, wfisurrogacy.com. You're going to hover over to the blue section that says Start Here and click on Become a Surrogate. We have our laptop here. We're going to go ahead and follow along with you while you're filling out to explain any questions you may have during this process.
So this is just a qualifying form. So it's going to ask your name, your email address, what state do you live in? Again, we want to make sure it's a surrogate-friendly state. It's going to ask your phone number, your date of birth, height, weight. We need to make sure that you have a correct BMI of under 33 to qualify.
We want to make sure you're a U.S. citizen, you've had your own child delivered, you've given birth no more than 5 times. You can have had 5 deliveries, but you can't have more than 5 to qualify, and you also cannot have more than 3 C-sections. We want to make sure that you don't smoke, you don't live in a home that smokes, and you do not use any illegal substances.
If you do not qualify, then it will send you a little nice email that says, we're sorry, you do not qualify at this moment. So if you get that, it's a rejection. You can always ask why you were rejected. It would either be your age or BMI are the 2 most common.
So it may look like we're asking these questions again. We're just reiterating that you qualify to be a surrogate with us. You know, you're in the proper age range. You have not had more than 5 deliveries. You've only had 3 C-sections. Your BMI is under 33. You're a non-smoker. You don't partake in any drugs. We want to make sure that you've had no complications in your delivery. You have no history of criminal activity.
No mental illness. That means that you have not been checked into a hospital for any mental illness or any treatment of that sort.
And then our bottom section of this page is going to go over our terms and conditions to make sure you accept and move forward with these. For example, you need to have a reliable form of transportation to get to and from all appointments, beginning before transfer and after transfer during your OB appointments. We want to make sure that you are understanding that you will be drug tested sporadically through the process. In addition, you need to make sure that you're very communicative with the parents along with the agency to keep us all updated about appointments.
Medication, you will be administering injections for the first 10 weeks of this pregnancy, so you or somebody else. And that is another thing that they want to make sure you're aware of, that you can do that. After that, you will go to the application and it will tell you, again, have you ever been convicted of misdemeanor, any complications during your pregnancy, and why do you want to become a surrogate? It seems like we're asking you these questions over and over again, and we are, just to make sure that you do understand the questions and that you qualify. You will then create a password. You're going to confirm that password, and once you have created your password, then you will actually be able to fill out the application. All of this is just to see if you qualify, and then we're going to get into the actual application for surrogacy. I'm going to say this is your surrogate profile. We are in progress, and do you want to complete your application? So we hope that you do want to complete your application. So click complete your application, and then we will move on to the next step.
This is your application. We need your name, your email address, phone number, cell phone, just so we know how to get a hold of you in regards to your application and moving forward.
The intended parents will not see this information. This is just information for our side.
Your emergency contact information. So, you know, this is going to go on your file in case if something does happen and we need to get a hold of somebody in your family or a friend. So this is the information that the parents are going to be able to see and view on your profile. Again, it's your basics, your height, your weight, your eye color, your hair color.
It's going to ask you what your race is. Marital status, are you married, are you divorced? So make sure that if you are married, even if you're separated, you're still technically married in the eyes of the law, put yes. And then we need the date of your marriage, or if you are divorced, date of divorce. Mm-hmm. And this is important because of some states have very, or even countries, have different rules of if a surrogate's married or divorced. What city do you live in? This is just, you know, sometimes intended parents are looking for a surrogate in this particular city or maybe somewhere that lives near LA because that's where they live and they want someone close.
Do you work? Yes or no. You can either or. There's no preference. Some parents prefer their surrogate to have a non-stressful job. So if you do have a stressful job, that's why we ask what your profession is. Health insurance, if you have your own, but if it may not be surrogate friendly, but we will get you a policy that will be surrogate friendly, but we just ask this in case we can check to see if your policy does cover surrogacy.
Does your partner work? Again, if you don't have a partner, it would just be NA. It's not applicable to you.
What type of parents are you willing to work with? Would you prefer a single woman, a heterosexual couple that's a man and a woman? Would you prefer a same-sex couple, either male-male or female-female, or a single male? Do you have a preference of how old your couple is? Do you want them in an older range? Do you want a younger new couple? Definitely we want to make sure we get a perfect match for you to be your surrogate for.
What form of birth control are you currently on? If you're not on any birth control, you can put none. If you are, like pill, patch, condoms, IUD, whatever it is that you have, that's just put that in there. Are you vaccinated against COVID-19? So it's going to say yes, no but willing to, or no, which is a definite you're not going to vaccinate. 99% of our intended parents are currently looking for vaccinated surrogates. However, if you do not want to vaccinate, of course that's your choice. We would just then test you for the antibodies, and as long as you have antibodies, then we would approve you to move forward. If you do not have antibodies, then the doctor will not approve you because you do not have any immunities.
So next you're going to list how many children you've had, and this also includes your own children along with surrogate babies if you've already been a surrogate previously.
It's also going to ask the ages and the sex of your children. You can list those, and if you have a surrogate baby, you would put in the parentheses surrogate. So say I have female 4, male 2, and I have a surrogate baby 1, and I would put that.
Is your partner supportive of your decision to be a surrogate? Super important, and we will reiterate this many times during the interview process. So we want to make sure that you have a supportive team with you during this journey. If you don't have a partner or significant other, do you have supportive family or friends? Next, we're just trying to get to know you more for the parents. This is, extra hobbies you like to do. Are you active? Do you like to just read? Do you like to cook, do crafts, go shopping, get pedicures? This is just definitely helpful to get the parents to get to know you. Goals, do you have any added goals in your life? Again, this is just to get to know you and get to know the type of personality you have. Do you want to climb every high mountain across the nation? Do you want to travel the world? Like, what kind of goals do you have? And it could be personal goals. It could be family goals.
Have you achieved them? And you can say yes, no, in the progress, working towards.
Have you ever had any problems conceiving your own children? If you've had to get any IVF treatments for your own pregnancies, this will not disqualify you, but we just definitely need to know all your medical history.
Do you smoke? We hope not, because if you are a smoker, then you will not qualify to become a surrogate. And do you smoke during your pregnancy? And again, we don't want you smoking during pregnancy. It's not healthy for you. It's not healthy for the baby. So if you are a smoker, then it's best if you're not a surrogate.
This includes vaping. Are you willing to undergo an amniocentesis? Sarah, can you explain what an amniocentesis is?
So an amniocentesis is actually a procedure that they do to test the fluid in the sac. This is something that is very rare. Again, it probably will not happen, but they're asking you just in case. So what's going to happen is we do test the embryos beforehand before they are transferred to you, so we know exactly which ones are which, so what's normal, what's not normal. So they will transfer normal embryos. When you're about 10 weeks pregnant, you're going to do another blood test, and that is our maternity 21. It's also called Invite. It has a couple different names, but it does the same thing. It's going to see if there's any abnormalities in the genetic material of the fetus. So if there is something comes back and it says, yes, there might be an issue, you're going to go for a scan, a nucleofold scan. And then if they do see something that they don't like, then they're going to send you for an amniocentesis. Again, it is very rare, but it is something that may happen. So we do want to see and make sure that you are okay to do that if it is medically necessary. I'm going to ask, do you drink alcohol beverages? You can be a social drinker. You can drink moderate, like, oh yeah, I have 1 glass of wine a week or whatever it is. That does not disqualify. You just know that we do not allow alcohol during the pregnancy. Drugs, are you on any prescription drugs? And even if you have, say, a prescription cream for your acne, or if you take pills, birth control pills, if you take anything, we just want to know what it is to make sure that it's not going to affect you during pregnancy. It's not going to be harmful for the baby.
Caffeine, if you enjoy your coffee in the morning, we understand that we all like to have our cup of coffee, but you're limited to 1 caffeinated drink a day. Have you ever had any reason to be in the hospital, surgeries, any other stays that you've kept you in the hospital? We're trying to get to know your medical history. Have you ever been treated for mental illness? This is if you've been ever admitted into a facility for any type of treatment or care. Here we're trying to find out, make sure that you have no previous convictions.
We will be doing a background check. So we are going to make sure that you don't have anything that would disqualify you for the surrogacy process. Another question is, what did you want to be while you were in high school? We all know that our minds change. So you can even say, like, I wanted to be an Olympic athlete, whatever it was that you wanted to be. Again, it's just to get to know you, just to see, where your mind is and what kind of person you are.
College, just again, trying to get to know you. If you've gone to college, if you haven't, that's fine. If you plan to, if you're currently going, we're just trying for the parents to get to know you.
It's going to ask about your religion. Do you have a preference? Do you go to church? Again, there's yes, no, there's no right answers.
Surrogacy, have you ever been a surrogate before? We're asking this again, just, give us the dates and how many times you've been a surrogate. Abortion, please, answer honestly. Have you ever had one? Yes or no if you had any complications.
It does not disqualify you.
What qualities in your couple are most important to you? Do you want them to be close to you so they can come to appointments with you? Do you want them to be in a whole nother state, in a whole nother country?
Do you want someone that's going to communicate with you well? Do you want someone that is loving, compassionate? Whatever you're looking for in an intended parent, that's what we want to know. What kind of relationship do you want to have with your couple during the pregnancy? Again, this is just asking, what does your vision look like? So when you're thinking about your journey, are you thinking that your parents are going to be there? They're going to be going to the doctor's appointments with you? Are you thinking that you're going to be, going to these appointments by yourself and then just notifying the intended parents via phone calls, text messages, Zoom calls?
What kind of relationship would you like to have with the child after birth? Do you want to get monthly updates, maybe, or yearly, like birthday announcements? Do you want to FaceTime monthly? Just what are you looking for in the journey? Would you like the parents to be in the room with you during delivery? And definitely we understand the privacy and delivery. We would not allow the parents to be in certain areas, but would you allow them to be in the room? Right when you're getting ready to push, this definitely needs to be established during legal, so we make sure that all parties are in agreement on this.
And that doesn't necessarily mean that they have to be hovering over you during the whole process of your labor. So if you're in labor and you don't want anyone there, you don't want anyone touching you, breathing on you, listening to any noises, you totally have the option to kick everybody out. But if the parents wanted to be there during the delivery room, we just ask that you let them in when you're getting ready to push, and that they can experience that moment of joy. Abortion, I know that this is always a touchy subject, but if there was something wrong with the child and the intended parents wanted to abort, would you be willing to? So you need to be very honest with your yes or no question. And that also is in reference to question number 48. Would you reduce if there's 3 or 4 embryos? So again, we want to make sure that you are healthy and the babies are healthy. So if you have 3 or more embryos, they would ask you to reduce. If the baby had some poor quality of life, where maybe that baby wouldn't survive after birth, or if it was detrimental to your health, they would ask you to reduce or to abort. Would you be willing to carry twins? Now, this question does not mean if they put in one and it's split, would you be willing to carry twins? This means, would you be willing to do a double embryo transfer where they are purposely trying to have 2 babies at once? So that is a no or yes question. And again, be honest, because we do have intended parents that are looking for a twin journey, and we don't want to match you if you do not want to carry twins.
And would you be willing to carry triplets? We would definitely not put 3 embryos in you. So this would be in case if those embryos split, and then you would be carrying triplets. The doctors would not allow you to carry triplets. It's just not safe for you, your body, or the babies, so they would do a reduction. So that would correlate with number 48. Would you do a reduction?
Are you willing to provide breast milk? Some parents are very adamant about wanting breast milk, and some are undecided, and some are no, it's fine. So it's a yes, no, or undecided question. And you can change your mind. Let's say you say yes, but then you try to pump and it's just not working for you, then of course we understand it's not going to work. But a lot of parents do just want the colostrum, which is the first 3 days, and you might just be pumping while you're in the hospital, but it is a preference if you are willing to do so or not.
What do you plan to tell your children about the pregnancy and the child? If they're a younger child, maybe you want to just say that, you know, you're carrying this baby for this family. If they're older, you can be a little more explicit and more detailed of what's going on in your journey.
Next, we're just going to go over some medical history again. It's going to ask you your weight, what was your heaviest weight, what is your current weight, what did you weigh a year ago, and then we're going to go over your deliveries. How many deliveries have you had? Any complications? Have you delivered any at 37 weeks? And they're going to ask you the type of deliveries. Are they vaginal or are they C-section? Again, doesn't necessarily disqualify you, but we just want to make sure you haven't had more than 5 vaginal deliveries and 3 C-sections. It's also just going to go over more medical history, like do you have any cancers, diabetes, heart conditions, high blood pressure, stroke, epilepsy, mental illness, hysterectomy, cesarean section. So these are just, again, we're trying to get your medical history.
So now at the bottom of this page, we're going to go ahead and ask questions about your menstrual history, you know, just to see your regularity, to see what kind of birth control you're on. We understand that certain birth controls can delay or prolong periods. So we just need to get an understanding so we can be prepared on where we need to control you for your cycles.
And it says number of days between periods. That's like 28 days between periods, 30 days. Usual duration, like I have my period for 3 days, I have it for 5 days. And age of onset, that's asking when you first started your period. Did you start when you were 14? Did you start when you were 16?
Finally, we're getting close. We're almost done. Just write a little brief letter to the intended parents. You know, like, thank you for looking at my profile. I'm really excited to join and help you become a family. You know, anything that comes to your mind from your heart that's going to reach out to the parents.
Yeah, they're going to read this and they're going to say, wow, we really love what she put down. It really touched us. Or they're going to be like, you know what? This girl thinks like me. We want to meet her. So after you finish that, it's going to say photos. So you're going to put up, we like at least 5 photos. The intended parents love to see happy families, like to see you interacting with your family. So it can be pictures of you by yourself and pictures of you and your family. If you're comfortable, you can put, you know, you and your children. We do need one good shot, one good headshot to add to your profile. It's going to be what we call your headshot on your profile picture. That's going to be the first picture that the intended parents see. So we're going to go next to your documents, and those documents are going to be, it's going to ask you for a background form so we can do your background. It's going to ask you a medical history form of your pregnancy. So you're going to put the dates that you delivered. It's going to say, was it vaginal? Was it C-section? Were there any complications? Was it singleton, twins? You're going to fill all that information out. You're also going to do a medical release so that we can request your medical records. We're going to be cleared on those medical records. And lastly, you're going to have a surrogacy guidelines form. It's going to say these are your do's and don'ts, and you're going to sign that and acknowledge that. Once we have your medical records back and they have been reviewed, then we can go on to the next step, which will be your consult, and we can hopefully finish the process. Thank you for completing your application. We understand it is a long and grueling process, and we appreciate you putting all this effort into it. And we hopefully will be working with you soon.